What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another NHL 23 ratings review. This will probably be the last one until the full game comes out. I don't really see them releasing any more ratings. As you guys can see, today we're looking at the top 10 goalies in game. Now, we've actually already seen a bunch of these guys overall, some of the top 50 players, but we weren't able to see all their individual stats. We can't actually see those now. So, number one here on the list, obviously, Vasilevski, 94 overall. I mean, he had, that insane stat for a couple years before, Tampa lost in the final last year, where I don't think he ever lost a back-to-back game in the playoffs. And I think, too, coming off of a loss, he had, 6 shutouts in 7 games, and the other game was a 1-goal game. So, definitely, the definition of clutch, the definition of poise. He's just an all-time playoff performer in terms of goaltending. So, he deserves, I think, the 94 overall, which has him tied with McCarr, Matthews, and McKinnon as the second highest rated player in this game. And honestly, it's hard to argue against that. I'd probably include Draisaitl there with the 94s, but again, I think Vasilevski deserves it. You can see here's X Factors, Contortionist, Zone Ability still, 4 X Factors there. Again, how a 94 overall goalie doesn't get a full set of X Factors. Don't ask me, that's a weird one, but it is what it is. His best stats here look to be shot recovery, glove side low, stick side low, and 5-hole all 95. Now, I'm pretty sure usually this just says glove high, glove low, stick high, stick low. The fact it says side's kind of throwing me off. I feel like that's a bit unnecessary, it just makes it harder to read, but is what it is. 90 poise, I just mentioned how poised he is. If he doesn't have 95 poise, then none of the goalies on this list better have 95 poise, or I don't even know. Again, he deserves at least 95, if not 99, but yeah, hard to argue him as the number 1 goalie. Number 2 on this list, Igor Shesterkin, 92 overall. I think I mentioned in the other video, I would probably have him, honestly, as a 93. I think, last year he proved he is that good. Won the Vezina Trophy, wasn't even close. One of the best seasons we've seen from a goalie in quite some time. Might have been the best season of the last, 10 years. Again, I'm not sure if this is a glitch or some error on the website. Him only having 3 X Factors and no zone ability, an absolute joke for 92 overall. 85 durability, only 85 poise. Again, I put that up to a 90. I think poise, honestly, matters most for goalies because I feel like the goalies with the low poise never seen to sim well in the playoffs for whatever reason it is. Maybe there's some sort of pressure element in playoff games, they're not as consistent. I don't know what it is, but it's just something I've found. I think other people have found as well. Doesn't look like he has any 95 stats like Vasilevski does. 6 side low though, 94. Same with 5-hole there. Obviously, Shesterkin a very good goalie, but I think even at 92 overall, he's actually a little bit underrated here, especially, like I said, with lacking those X Factors. Number 3 on this list, Conor Hellebuck. In my opinion, I probably would have him as the 3rd best goalie in the NHL. Now, he's tied here with Markstrom and Gibson at 90. I would make Hellebuck at least a 91, maybe even a 92. As in my personal opinion, Hellebuck is the 3rd best goalie in the league. It's not like, a toss-up between him, Markstrom, Gibson. It's definitely him, so I think the rating should reflect that. You can see there, he has 5 X Factors, but again, no zone ability, super strange. Low 90s there across the board for his stats. You can see they kind of have a different variety there of X Factors. I think whirlwind actually might be the worst one. It's something like if you make 3 saves in 5 seconds or something like that, you then get a boost, but I feel like that almost never happens, so it's honestly kind of a waste of an X Factor, and I think all 3 of them have it, which is kind of funny to see. Markstrom there, number 4, also 90 overall. I think actually this is a really good rating for him, being 90. Dialed in zone ability, definitely one of the cool ones. Where after making 15 saves or whatever it is, they start to play better. You can see there the rest of his X Factors, poise is 85. Similar to Hellebuck, low 90 for stats. Like I said, I think they actually nailed the Markstrom rating. John Gibson here, also 90 overall. So I think he's a little bit too high rated. I'd probably have him an 88. Maybe even 87. I mentioned before, obviously the Ducks haven't been that great, but even when you actually look at his analytics, his saves above expected, goals against above expected, they're actually not that great. So those are numbers where even if you're on a bad team, you could still have good numbers there. Not really the case for Gibson. I do still think he's a top 10 goalie in the NHL. Again, I just wouldn't have him personally in my top 5. 4 X Factors for him there. Again, pretty much all 90 for stats. Really not too much of a change. Only 80 durability. I don't remember Gibson really being hurt that much. So that's kind of an interesting choice. Next year, number 6, Thatcher Demco, 89 overall. I think I mentioned before, this is a little bit high for me on Demco. I'd probably have him in 88. So I would put him in the top 10 opposed to number 6 there, but still in the very young goalies in the league. Now, having said that, they definitely did him dirty here with not a single X Factor. I think Demco could definitely have the dialed in one. A lot of these, honestly, elite goalies should have it. When they get in their zone, they're pretty tough to beat. Looking at his stats here again, mostly low 90s. Apart from him being, 1 overall high, no X Factors, not really much to complain about. Sarah's here, number 7, 89 overall. I think he's actually underrated at this spot. Personally, I would have him as a 90, maybe even a 91. If he's a 91, I'd probably push up Hellebuck to a 92. So he's 3, Saros is 4. Of course, Vasilevski, Shesterkin still 1 and 2, but I think Saros is very, very good. You can see there he does have his own ability, a bunch of X Factors, Poise, though, only 85. Again, these elite goalies that are like top 10 in the game should probably all have 90 poise, in my opinion, unless there's someone that's just like only good in the regular season, or I don't know, never plays well under pressure. Looking at his stats here, 93 stick side low there. Looks to be his best stat. Glove high 87. I feel like he probably has a better glove high than that. Looks like that's actually his worst stat. So, oh, puck check actually, sorry, 83. I feel like that's a bit low, but I mean, maybe it's fine. Number 8 after that, Freddie Andersons. We had seen Anderson's rating before, 89. Like I mentioned, this one's tough because he had such a good season last year. But the year before that in the Leafs, it was really mediocre. Obviously, Campbell, beat him up for that starting job when he was injured. He was never able to take it back. He's got some X factors there, no zone ability. His stats, again, high 80s, low 90s. Really, nothing too crazy here. I think I'd probably have Anderson at 88 as well, just, 1 overall lower. If he has another great season with the Canes here, maybe we're even talking about making him a 90 next season, but I'd have him at 88 for now. After him, Elias Rokin here, 88 overall. Definitely, deserved an upgrade. They had him pretty low rated for the longest time. I'm not sure how old he is, 27, okay, so he's no longer growing in game, which is big. I know they had like medium starting potential, and I was always making it medium elite because he was like an 83 or something. So 88 overall now. Won't grow as much unless he has a great season. Sorokin, I think, is very good. I think he's definitely one of the top 10 goalies in the league. He's proved that. Varlamov's a good goalie, and Varlamov obviously is his backup now. I'm wondering, like, Sorokin should be at least an 88. Definitely not lower. I wonder if he maybe makes Sorokin 89. It's tough. It's it's right around that range. So I think overall they got him in a good rating. Again, I would give him a zone ability. Personally, I think any player that's rated 87 plus should get one. Just because, why put them in the game and then be stingy with it? Seems kind of, redundant at that point. And next year, guys, the final guy on this list, Sergey Bobrovski, number 10, also 88 overall. Kind of similar to Anderson. He's a tough one to rate because last year he actually had a really good season with the Panthers, but it was the President's Trophy winning Panthers. The year before that, not too great. Spencer Knight looked like he'd be the future starter, but then Bobrovski ended up being the starter this year and actually played quite well. No X factors for him. Definitely like Demco. Makes no sense to me. Again, this Bobrovski rating, similar to Anderson, it's just so tough. Also, too, like, before a couple bad years with the Panthers, he was so good in Columbus, like, easily a top 5 goalie. You could even, like, blame those bad years on COVID. Maybe he, wasn't, staying conditioned enough, something like that. Now he's bounced back. Obviously, he's got a big overpaid contract, but that has nothing to do with his actual skill. So, 88 overall, I think, for me, is right around where it should be. I'd probably have him 87 or 88. Giving him the 88 based on how good he's been over his career, I honestly don't mind. Like I was just saying, I would definitely give him some X factors. So overall, guys, top 10 goalie list, it's not too bad. Saros there is too low, Gibson's too high, Hellebuck is like slightly too low, and then the X factor is actually probably the weirdest part about this. Like, I don't know what they're doing there, but in terms of the actual ratings, honestly, this isn't too bad. Also, too, guys, in regards to some goalies not on this list, I feel like Darcy Kemper's got to be close. Probably like 88 overall as well, tied Bobrovski, because personally, I would have him at least that high, maybe even an 89. I'm thinking too, Marc-Andre Fleury's probably like 87 range, so a little bit off the list. And even a guy like Carey Price, a lot of people have been talking about what's he going to be rated because he's staying out all this year. I don't really see them making him a 70 because he's only out for this year as of now, not, the rest of his career. So I would probably still have Price a little bit lower to reflect, him aging. They have the best games played when he did come in last year. So Price probably also like 87, maybe even 86. And I think that's why we're not seeing him there in the top 10. I think that's it, guys, for the ratings. Like, you go on the site here, we've covered the wingers, the defensemen, centers, goalies, top 50. I think now we just have to wait for the actual game to come out and look at all the ratings, and I'll give you guys my review when that happens. But until then, hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you guys did, leave that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the button down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.